Welcome back to our fascinating journey into the world of myths and creatures. Today, we're diving deep into the realm where science meets fantasy. Get ready to be amazed as we explore 20 real creatures that you might have thought were just myths. Hold on tight, because science is about to unveil the truth behind these legendary beings. Are you ready to be enlightened? Let's embark on this incredible adventure together. Number 20. Vampire Deer. Deep in our mysterious natural world, there's a fascinating creature called the vampire deer. These special animals look like something from an exciting Blade movie. What makes them different is their scary teeth. But don't be scared by their name. They're actually a kind of Chinese water deer that's commonly found in European countries. Thinking about coming across a blood-sucking deer in the forest can be really scary, but don't worry. These deer don't want your blood. Those scary teeth might look frightening, but they're just for show. Nature has played a trick on us. The teeth are there to look impressive, not to harm anyone. Normally, you'd expect a male deer to have big antlers on its head, just like other deer. But this particular kind of musk deer is different. Instead of antlers, they grow sharp fangs from their upper jaws, like a vampire's deadly teeth. It's sad to hear that white-bellied musk deer are endangered and close to disappearing forever. They're at risk because people value their musk pods, which are used in expensive perfumes. With only a few of these amazing creatures left, they might soon become nothing more than a myth. Number 19. Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster, also known as Nessie, is a famous creature that people say lives in Loch Ness, a lake in Scotland. People in North America don't talk about it much, but if you visit Scotland and ask the locals about fun things to do, they might suggest learning about this mysterious creature. Nessie is described as a big animal with a long neck and humps. Even though many people say they've seen it, no one has taken a clear picture or proven it's real. The Loch Ness Monster story became popular in the 1930s when a man named George Spicer claimed to have seen it. After that, many people wrote letters saying they saw dragons, sea serpents, and a big fish monster. Since the 1940s, it's been affectionately called Nessie. The first stories about the Loch Ness Monster go back to the 6th century. A man swimming in the River Ness was supposedly attacked by a water beast and pulled underwater, according to an account by Adam Nan and Abbott. Some sightings have been proven wrong, like mistaking bird flocks or other animals for Nessie, but the Loch Ness Monster legend is still interesting and adds to the mystery. It's a cool part of Scottish stories. Number 18. Kraken. Far under the sea, there's a creature that has interested sailors for a long time, the mighty Kraken. This legendary sea monster is famous for being really scary, making people who see it feel very afraid. People describe it as a huge creature like an octopus. The Kraken doesn't like humans and enjoys making ships sink and eating the unlucky sailors. Because it's so strong, it can pull down even the toughest ships with its powerful arms. If a ship doesn't give up, the Kraken might swim in circles to make a dangerous swirling water called a whirlpool to swallow the ship. Some scientists believe that the real inspiration for the Kraken myth might be the modern giant squid. But the giant squid is smaller and not as mean as people say the Kraken is. There's no proof that the giant squid made ships sink like the Kraken supposedly did. In 1863, a big squid fossil found on a Danish beach got connected to the Kraken, but the Kraken is still a mystery, hiding in the deep water where we don't know what it's really like. The biggest giant squid ever found was a huge 18 meters long. These very big creatures are often chased by sperm whales that see them as food. Usually, the giant squids run away when they see these strong predators, but sometimes they bravely fight to survive against the whales. Number 17. Yeti. The Yeti is a famous creature, also called the abominable snowman. People say it lives in the big Himalayan mountains in Asia. Many have tried to find proof that the Yeti is real, but so far, we mostly have stories without clear proof. People have talked about seeing a big ape-like creature, but some don't believe them because there isn't enough good evidence. We've seen blurry videos, unclear photos and footprints, but they could be from other animals or made up. Even the sightings that seemed real turned out to be false. So, we still don't know if the Yeti is a real animal or just a story. The idea of the Yeti might have come from stories of the Sherpa people, who might have mistaken other animals like yaks or bears for it. People often compare the Yeti to Bigfoot in North America because they seem similar. People who say they've seen the Yeti describe it as a big, furry creature, usually brown, grey or white. It walks on two legs and has long, sharp teeth, which makes it mysterious. More people started talking about the Yeti in the 1900s when explorers from the West went to the mountains. They found strange tracks and signs of unknown creatures, which made them curious. They even went on trips to find the Yeti, but despite trying a lot, there's still no good proof that it exists. Number 16. Lowland Street Tenme. Tiny animals called Lowland Street Tenme live in the rainforests of Madagascar. They are very interesting because they are small, only about 5 to 7 inches long. These animals have spiky black bodies with yellow stripes, making them look like bumblebees. You can easily spot them in the green forests. These creatures are active during the day and night. They explore their homes with curiosity. To find food, they stomp their feet on the ground, creating vibrations that attract earthworms, which they love to eat. They also have long snouts that they use to poke into the soil and find hidden treasures. However, these animals face big problems. The rainforests where they live are being cut down, which is bad for them. Losing their homes makes it hard for them to find food and a safe place to live. People also sometimes hunt them for meat, which makes their numbers go down. It's important for us to understand how special and fragile these creatures are. We need to do things to protect where they live and make sure they survive for a long time. Number 15. Matamata Turtle. The Matamata Turtle is a special kind of turtle found in the Amazon and Orinoco basins of South America. It was first seen in 1741. These turtles are big, slow, and have a unique triangular head with a horn on their snoot. They also have flaps of skin and bumps. Matamata turtles can grow up to 37 inches long and weigh up to 46 pounds. They live in still water like pools and marshes. Even though they are water animals, they often stay in shallow water and stick their snouts out to breathe. These turtles eat meat like small animals and fish. When they find food, they use a smart hunting trick. They move the prey to shallow water, surround it, and wave their front legs to stop it from getting away. Then they open their mouths, creating a rush of water that brings the food right into their mouths. People find Matamata turtles interesting and want them as pets, but it's important to know that they need special care and knowledge because of their specific habitat needs. Number 14. Megalania. Forget about the big lizards we know today. In the past, during the Pleistocene era in Australia, there were even scarier creatures. These were huge lizards called Megalanias. They were the biggest land-dwelling lizards ever, reaching lengths up to 23 feet and weighing a popping 4277 pounds, heavier than a small car. Just thinking about coming face to face with one is really scary. We found fossils of Megalanias that are about 50,000 years old. This means they lived at the same time as Australia's early human settlers. These ancient humans might have had scary encounters with Megalanias, and they might have had a role in making them extinct. Imagine how terrifying it would be to meet these huge lizards. Experts believe Megalanias were very hungry and would eat medium to large animals, like giant marsupials, birds, chicks, and eggs. They had strong bodies and legs, so they could chase and catch their prey. Their big skulls and jaws had sharp teeth that could easily tear through flesh. It's enough to give you the creeps, but wait, it gets even scarier. Some scientists think Megalanias might have been venomous, like their modern relatives, the Komodo dragon and Nile monitor. These nightmarish lizards could have had venom-secreting oral glands, adding a venomous bite to their already scary abilities. Number 13. Platypus. The platypus is a real animal that is very special, almost like something from a fantasy story. Let's talk about its amazing features. First, it's a mammal that lays eggs, which is unusual. But that's not all. The platypus is one of the few venomous mammals on Earth. These cute creatures have venom, but don't worry, it's harmless to humans. There's more. Their fur can actually glow under ultraviolet light like a magical creature from a fairy tale. Just imagine a shining platypus in the dark. It's truly fascinating. Their appearance is also interesting. They have a beaver-like tail for storing food, webbed feet for swimming, and a long snout that looks like a duck's bill. It's a unique combination of features that makes them truly one of a kind. Not only are platypuses extraordinary physically, but they also have a special place in various cultures. For example, some Aboriginal Australians used to believe that the platypus was a mix of a duck and a water rat. Other Aboriginal groups see the platypus as a totem with symbolic meaning. The Wadi people along the Murray River especially respect the platypus. The uniqueness of the platypus even made it the mascot for the Sydney 2000 Olympics, represented by Sid the platypus, capturing the hearts of people worldwide. Number 12. Moby Dick. Moby Dick is a made-up story, but it's connected to real things that happened. The writer, Herman Melville, got ideas from true events in the 1800s when sailors met dangerous whales. These whales were aggressive and gave Melville lots of stories to use in his imagination. Picture this: a huge whale relentlessly chasing people who are in small ships. The sailors had to be really brave because the whales wanted to eat them. There are many stories of whales causing problems for these sailors. In one famous event in 1820, a big sperm whale attacked a ship called Essex, and even though some crew members survived on small boats, only 5 made it through the scary journey. They were stranded for 89 days before reaching land. These sailors had to deal with deadly whales, and one whale caught Melville's interest. It was a massive white whale with a bad temper, haunting the Pacific Ocean. Sailors told stories of brave whales fighting back against their hunters, making these whales seem tough. Melville used these stories to create his own tale, and it turns out there really was a big white whale in the 1800s that troubled sailors, making Melville's story more believable. Number 11. Monto Monster. The Monto Monster is a strange animal that showed up in Montauk, New York in 2008. It was found on Ditch Plains Beach by Jenna Hewitt and her friends. At first, nobody knew what it was, so people came up with wild ideas. Some joked that it was a mutant experiment from the Plum Island Animal Disease Center. Others thought there was a big secret, with the body being hidden. News articles suggested it might be a turtle without a shell, a dog, a big rodent, or even a fake thing. Despite the confusion, a few good theories came out. Experts said it could be a coyote, a sheep, a sea turtle, or a rodent. The main idea came from paleozoologist Darren Nash and biologist Jeffrey Corwin. They said it was a raccoon. The raccoon's teeth, front paws, and skull matched, and its strange look was because of being in the water for a while. This surprising discovery showed that the Monto Monster was just a regular raccoon and not something fantastical. Number 10. Rock. Imagine feeling lucky that you weren't born when there were dangerous eagles around. But you should feel even luckier that you never met a creature called Rock. Unlike regular eagles, Rock wasn't just hunting individuals. It attacked whole communities. People who settled in areas near Rock's supposed home, an island off Africa's coast, said it was massive enough to lift an elephant. Later, scientists looked into these stories and found out that Rock was actually a species called Ebiornis, or elephant bird. These incredible birds lived in Madagascar, an island near the African coast. Despite being huge, about half a ton and reaching 10 feet in height, they couldn't fly. Unlike other birds, they couldn't soar through the skies. Sadly, these magnificent birds, the Ebiornis, no longer exist. Humans hunted them relentlessly until they disappeared forever from Madagascar. It's a sad story of a unique and large bird species falling victim to human activities and going extinct. Number 9. Ogopogo. Ogopogo is a cool monster that lives in a lake called Okanagan Lake in Canada. People think it looks a lot like the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland. Some experts say the story of Ogopogo goes way back to the stories of the First Nations people. Now, it's a symbol for the region and people really like it. People say Ogopogo is big, like 50 feet long, and has smooth dark skin. It's like a snake and can move really fast in the water. Some say it can even go up and down in the water like a roller coaster. The first time someone saw Ogopogo was in 1872 by a person named Susan Allison. But it wasn't until 1968 that someone filmed it. A man named Art Folden saw something in the lake while driving. Later, they found out it was closer to the shore, so it looked smaller and slower. Some people think it might be a real animal, like an otter or beaver, not a made-up monster. Number 8. Sega Antelope. Sega antelopes are amazing animals that used to live in a big part of Eurasia, but now they're in danger of disappearing. There are only about 50,000 of them left, and they can mostly be found in Russia and Kazakhstan. These antelopes are unique because they're not very tall, about 32 inches, and can weigh up to 152 pounds. They have interesting features like puffy nostrils, dark marks on their faces, long ears, and males have cool horns with up to 20 rings. Sega antelopes live in groups and like open areas like woodlands and grasslands. They eat a variety of plants, even some that are poisonous to other animals, making them able to find food in places where other animals can't. Number 7. Chupacabra. The Chupacabra is a creature that many people have found interesting for a long time. It's a mysterious being that people say they've seen in different countries, mostly in the Americas. The name Chupacabra means goat sucker, because some believe it attacks and drinks the blood of animals, especially goats. People describe the Chupacabra in different ways. Some think it looks like a reptile, while others think it's more like an alien. However, there are some common features that many people agree on. It's often said to be about the size of a small bear, with spines running from its neck to the base of its tail. Some people even think it looks more like a dog than a bear. People have been saying they've seen the Chupacabra since the 1970s in many countries, not just in the Americas, but also in places like the Philippines and Russia. The Chupacabra became well known in 1975 when there were reports of livestock being killed in Puerto Rico. Farmers said their animals were being killed and had their blood drained, but later, experts found out that it was actually street dogs causing the problem. Number 6. Venezuelan Puddle Moth. The Venezuelan puddle moth is a really strange bug that we didn't even know about until 2009. It looks like a mix of a poodle and a moth. These moths have a weird but cute and kind of scary look at the same time. One interesting thing about them is that their bodies are covered in what looks like soft, white fur. We found out about these moths when a scientist named Arthur Anker shared a picture of them on his Flickr page. He found them in a national park in Venezuela. When other experts tried to figure out what kind of moth it was, they were confused and didn't have all the answers. Some think it might be related to another furry moth. It's surprising that, even though we already know a lot about animals, there are still new and strange ones like the Venezuelan puddle moth waiting to be discovered. Scientists think there are thousands of new insect species in the South American rainforests that we haven't found yet. Number 5. Piraquet. Long ago, there were stories about a big bird called Bugey, or Old Glutton. This bird could fly and was known for grabbing people from the ground and eating them in faraway places. Just think about how huge a bird had to be to carry a person in the sky without any effort. It was so strong that no one dared to challenge it. Now, let's jump to the year 1871. An explorer named Frederick Richardson found a fascinating creature at the Candleberry Museum. Surprisingly, this creature, once believed to be a myth, turned out to be real. Nowadays, we call it the host eagle because it always seemed hungry. The host eagle was a really big bird that used to wander around the earth. It had wings that stretched 3 meters wide. Its favorite food was the moe bird, a magnificent bird weighing between 100 and 250 kilograms. Since humans are generally lighter than mowbirds, the host eagles might have thought of us as tasty snacks. This special relationship between the host eagle and mowbird suggests that they evolved separately from humans. This explains why they seem to have a natural liking for feasting on us. Number 4. Thorny Devil. The Thorny Devil, also known as Malik, is a small lizard that lives in Australia. Even though it's only 8.3 inches long, including its tail, it stands out because of its special appearance. These lizards have 2 big horn scales on their heads that make them look a bit like devils. But that's not all. They also have spines all over their bodies, like armor to protect them from other animals. They have a smart way to defend themselves. They have a fake head that helps them trick and hide from danger. When they see a predator, they quickly hide their real head and show the fake one on their neck. This fake head is made of soft tissue and fools possible attackers. Most predators are not interested in the lizard, and even if they are curious, the Thorny Devil's sharp spines make it hard to swallow. It's like a real-life magic trick. These interesting creatures live in different parts of Central Australia, especially in dry areas like scrublands and deserts. To survive in these tough places, they eat ants and find ways to get water. A cool thing about Thorny Devils is that they can absorb moisture through their skin. When morning dew touches their skin, it gets transported to their mouths, like having their own built-in hydration system. Number 3. Mermaid. People like to make ordinary things look special by adding decorations. They might decorate lunchboxes or wear funny hats with pictures of magical mermaids. But it's important to know that mermaids, these enchanting sea creatures, are not real. They only exist in stories and myths, not in the real world. Mermaids have been part of stories passed down through generations in seafaring cultures for a very long time. People used to think mermaids caused shipwrecks and tricked sailors into dangerous situations. But there is no solid proof that mermaids are real other than in books. Throughout history, artists and storytellers have shown us interesting creatures that are half human and half animal, and many magical female figures. But why do mermaids continue to capture our thoughts? The answer is a bit mysterious. One explanation could be that the deep, unknown parts of the oceans leave a lot of room for our imaginations. We can imagine all kinds of things about the underwater world that we can't see directly. It might be easier for us to believe in mermaids because the mysteries of the deep sea spark our imagination and curiosity. So, the question is, do you still believe in mermaids? Number 2. Vogelkop's Superb Bird of Paradise. The Vogelkop's Superb Bird of Paradise is a really cool bird. It lives only in one place, the Bird's Head Peninsula. At first, people thought it was just a type of another bird called the Superbird of Paradise. But in 2018, they'd officially said it's its own special kind of bird. This bird was found by a guy named Ernst Mayr in the 1930s. It has amazing black feathers that can soak up almost all the light, making it look super cool. These birds live in the mountains in western New Guinea, Indonesia, and can fly really high, up to 61 feet. Just imagine these awesome birds flying around in their high homes. Birds of paradise are a big and interesting family. Most of them live in places like Australia, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea. The Vogelkop's Superb Bird of Paradise is one of the special members. There are about 44 different kinds and 17 groups of these birds. What makes them so cool is their beautiful feathers. They have feathers on their beak, tail, head, and wings, and each species has a unique display. These birds like to live in thick rainforests where they can find lots of yummy fruits and bugs to eat. The lush environment is perfect for showing off their fancy feathers and doing special dances to find a mate. It's really amazing to think about these birds living in such cool places and doing their unique things. Number 1. Frilled Lizard. The frilled lizard is a really cool lizard that lives in northern Australia and southern New Guinea. It's also called the frilled dragon or frill-necked lizard. What makes it special is the big frill around its neck, made of cartilage connected to its jawbone. Usually, these lizards keep their frills close to their bodies while hanging out in trees and eating small animals and insects. But when they feel scared, they open their mouths wide, showing off a colourful frill. It can be yellow or pink, turning into shades of orange and red scales. They do this to scare away enemies, attract mates, and show they're in charge of their territory. It's interesting that the colour of their frills can change depending on where they live. If it's a place with a lot of clay, their frills will be brown, red, and orange. In tropical areas, their frills will have green, grey, and brown colours. Which of these cool lizards do you find most interesting? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.